On her counterclaims against him, the jury found in Depp's favor on 2 out of the 3 counts raised, but found that he, through his attorney, did make up a story about her intentionally trashing their penthouse so that things would look extra bad when police showed up one night. That one untrue statement should cost Mr. Depp $2 million, said the jury. But don't be distracted by her win on that one piece of her counterclaim. This was a total victory for Johnny Depp.
Megyn Kelly is one of those I've been waiting to hear from. She's made some powerful statements here that prove that she's really capable of very logical thinking. She's a very analytical person. Critical thinking she's comfortable with, and objectivity is something she's willing to embrace, at least on this theme. She's been very, very clinical and even blunt in the way she's put her own views about what has happened. She's put aside any sentiments and she's just spoken the way anybody should when you're speaking about something like this, objectively, without bias. And I would like to just go through, I'm just going to take her points and just comment on them, because I think she's made very powerful statements that need to be propagated to the hearing of as many people as possible, especially those who are sentimentally feminists. I like to use that phrase because that's what I'm saying. When you're sentimentally feminist, what I'm saying is people who take feminism to the negative extreme, because feminism is positive. However, some people take it to the point where they want to make feminism to something that makes it right for a woman to lord it over a man. That's not the idea that feminism is based on. Feminism is based on the need to acknowledge women as equals with men. The need for equality to be demonstrated in all the interaction that a woman has to have with a man. That's all. It's not a right to claim superiority over men and therefore to lord it over men and subject men to demeaning treatment, and emasculate men. That's not it. So where you can, of course, then make a man guilty without giving him a chance to defend himself and just assume, just a presumption of guilt. A lot of that Megyn Kelly talks about in this short statement she issues on the case. So I want you to listen, then you can see the link to the full recording of a show in the description for this video. But I'm just going to cut to certain sections where she says certain important things, and I'm going to comment on them because I think they're relevant to not just of course the understanding of people regarding this case's outcome, but also my peculiar circumstances and the message I'm trying to preach regarding what is happening in our own part of the world. Because a lot of what is being done by today's women, they are getting their ideas from some of our women who are living in the West. Now, the people from the West are the ones that have taken this kind of decision. I call it a landmark decision regarding accusations of abuse leveled against a man by a woman, and the woman has been roundly defeated. And the same system that generated this feminism is the same system that's giving this report to this woman. So I think it's a very instructive outcome that needs to be communicated to our women in this part of the world, so they understand it's not going to be business as usual. Men are going to be fighting back, right? So let's get started.
We begin with a resounding victory for Johnny Depp over Amber Heard in the defamation case seen around the world. The Virginia jury finding that she defamed him, maliciously making up lies about him, abusing her, in a 2018 Washington Post op-ed, awarding him $10 million in compensatory damages and another $5 million in punitive damages. That $5 million later reduced to $350,000 because Virginia has a cap on punitive damage awards. On her counterclaims against him, the jury found in Depp's favor on 2 out of the 3 counts raised, but found that he, through his attorney, did make up a story about her intentionally trashing their penthouse so that things would look extra bad when police showed up one night. That one untrue statement should cost Mr. Depp $2 million, said the jury. But don't be distracted by her win on that one piece of her counterclaim. This was a total victory for Johnny Depp. Amber Heard has been humiliated, publicly deemed a malicious liar, and this jury says she's been at it for years. They essentially found her to be a fake victim, rejecting her claims of domestic abuse and sexual violence. The verdict tells us that they watched and listened to Ms. Heard on the stand and in the end did not find her credible. As I outlined in my talking points yesterday,
All right, now, so the first thing is, You've heard all the judgments that were passed, so that's clear. I just wanted to be able to just put that in, so that for those who may not have been following the case, you know what exactly the issues were and the results that were arrived at, and at least a summary of why. What I want to talk about, however, just quickly comment on, is the fact that they found her to be a fake victim, all right, and that she had been at it for years. And that's one of the things I want to highlight. People who are abusive, they don't just become abusive overnight and then manifest abuse in the lives of somebody. Typically, there are people who have shown, it's called a pattern of behavior. So now, why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up because I want people to understand that if you are going to avoid becoming a victim of abuse, whether you're a man or woman, but I'm talking mainly to men now, you've got to check that the person you're hooking up with does not have a history of being abusive. She doesn't talk about it, Megan doesn't talk about it here, but I have followed this story for more than, I think, how long has it been now? About 2 years. And when I discovered this was happening, because Johnny Depp, I got to know him because of his role in the Pirates of the Caribbean. I loved him so much, so I was so shocked that this was happening to him. Now, I found out about this, and this thing that struck me was the fact that he had engaged with this lady and gotten married to her. She was doing all these things to him. The courts have noticed that when the court trial was going on, they were able to go back in time, interview people who had relationship with her in the past, and there was a pattern of behavior that consistently shows he was an abusive person. So not just with Johnny Depp, there were other people. And like I said, I'm bringing it up because I want men to understand. You need to research the background of the person you are trying to hook up with. I'm saying it from personal experience. Listen to me. When I decided to go and when I began dating my ex-partner, I was working in Benin City, and I tell you, I didn't do any background checks of any sort. I simply got with her and began dating her, visiting her in their home. However, by the time she came to spend about 2 weeks with me, where I was based in Benin, and I didn't know she didn't take permission from her mom, but again, I probably assumed it was irresponsible of me anyway. So the minute I heard that the mother kicked her out, I quickly traveled out to Lagos and told her, look, my intentions are honorable. I want to marry your daughter. I'm sorry I made her come to stay with me in Benin without asking your permission. Please forgive me. This is my intention to marry her. And before I left that house on that day, the older sister called me and sat me down and said she wanted to talk to me. I'm talking about pattern of behavior, history, the person's history. Now, she said, do you know XY, that my sister? Have you ever seen her angry? I said, no. He said, well, I want to let you know that you must be ready for that, because when she gets angry, there's literally nothing she cannot say with her mouth and nothing she cannot do. I, as her older sister, have had situations when I almost felt like killing her because of the things she said and did to me. Are you sure you can take that? And I said, oh, I love her. It's not about, she now told me, it's not about just love. You really have to understand that this is serious. And I was saying, don't worry. And she said, okay, I'm going to remind you I told you so. You see, what I'm trying to tell you, listening to me, I hope you're listening, is that if I had given a little thought, given what she said a little more thought, I would have tried to test this lady like I have now learned to do. And I would have tried to find out who are the other people that knew her in the neighborhood. Maybe people that she schooled with, friends she kept, male and female. I would probably have tried to find out more. And I would not know she had this horrific temper and an inability, total inability to self-regulate, to self-manage whenever she got into her rage, because she will go into a complete rage, and man, there's literally nothing she will not do once she was in that state of mind. I have seen it over 20 years. Until today, I am in shock as to the kinds of things she has been capable of doing and she has done to me, the things she has said to me. So I'm saying it to you because this lady has made a very valid point, and I'm telling you, you don't want to now get with the person, get hooked up, be in a union formally defined by court or by the, I don't know, religion or whatever, and then suddenly find out you hooked up with a monster. and now be looking for a way to escape, and it's not going to be easy for you. Depending on what part of the world you are in, even Nigeria now, they are busy copying the West. Then you're going to find yourself having to look at all your assets and you're going to be sharing it. They are so robot-like in Nigeria, the way, especially in Lagos, the way they apply these their silly rules. They just do copy and paste social welfare from America, the same America that has no family structure for anybody to learn from, a place where divorce is at a higher rate than even marriages being preserved. That's where they are borrowing all their ideas on maintenance of relationship and families. But that's an aside. I don't want to digress. So that's it. The fact that I didn't do my background check, and I'm telling you with regard to what this woman has said here. They said they found that she had been in it for years. The reason the jury knew that was because they interviewed other people. They had them brought into court, and those people testified, her ex-partners, that she had been an abusive person to them. In contrast, Johnny Depp had all his ex-partners saying no, he was never an abusive person. Oh, they had a difference, but abuse was never one of the issues. And the woman had, and that's Amber Heard, had even had the audacity to claim that specify one of the partners as having been abused, physically pushed down the stairs. And the woman had to come online and do a video of herself saying, no, that never happened. This is what happened, and Johnny Depp even rushed to help me when I fell down the stairs. You see, so this is a very, as the court concluded, manipulative human being. You can imagine what she would have gotten away with. In fact, she did get away with it initially. She went and wrote in the Washington Post an article where she made claims. Of course, she didn't identify Johnny Depp by name, but people put two and two together and just drew conclusions about Johnny Depp, and it was just oh my God, he was vilified to high heavens. So I wanted to start with that because I think it's so critical. Please take this as a kind of a lesson. You want to get to know this person's history. It is very easy for you to find out if you need to send some people to interact with people she knew and she knows, so that you know the kind of person you are getting to. Then second thing is test her. Push her to the limits. Test her patience. Lie to her if necessary about your situation financially. Lie to her. Pretend. See what she does. It's important before you hook up and get into a union. You're going to have to now fight tooth and nail to get out of, and probably have to lose a lot to get out of. So it's very critical. Let's go on.